Hello, it's John Paval with our weekly organ recital live stream roundup from Access Arts Live, where we give you all the organ recital live streams that we could find for you this week. We give you the dates, the times, we give you the live link, and in this video, I give you some of the background information about it, about the program that's going to be played when available, often it isn't, about the organ, and about the organist for each recital. So let's get right to it for this week. There's a lot to cover. Here I am. You get to see me instead of that picture of all these people. But I want to put up another picture right away for you of Ondrej Hornas. He's a Czech organist. He's going to be playing in just about a half an hour's time now. I think, no, in about an hour and a half. Today is Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. And Ondrej Hornas will be playing an organ recital at St. James Cathedral in Toronto at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast and 7 o'clock in the evening here in Europe. I'm in Stockholm the next couple months, from which I'll be live streaming. We do not yet have, even at this late moment, the program for what he'll be playing. I can tell you that he studied at the Conservatory in Olomouc, Czechoslovakia, and at the Janáček Music Academy in Brno, and subsequently at the Institut Supérieur des Arts de Toulouse. And then he got a master's degree in the Academy of Performing Arts in Prague. He has participated in several organ competitions in Poland, Italy, and France. Done concerts in the Czech Republic, the US, Germany, Austria, France, Slovakia. And he has we're told that he has a specific interest in transcriptions of symphonies, like the Symphony from the New World and the Beethoven's Fifth. So he may very well be playing that kind of music today during this recital. We'll have to find out in an hour and a half. It's free of charge on YouTube, as most of these are. I mean, they're all free of charge. Most of them are on YouTube. The organ itself is, they started out with an S.R. Warren organ in 1863, rebuilt in 1889, rebuilt by Cassavant Frères, in 1936 and again in 1966-67, rebuilt again with additions by L.I. Phelps and Associates in 1976. Let me double check. Are we able to give you a link to the specs? Yes. So you can go into the comments or description section if you want more specifics about what is the organ you'll be hearing, if that helps you make up your mind about whether or not to watch it. Next up, we have Colin Andrews. That will be tomorrow. Here's Colin Andrews. I love guys who wear bow ties. I often do on my live streams here. Colin Andrews will be playing at Glasgow University tomorrow, Wednesday, November 6th, 1:10 p.m. UK time, which is 2:10 in the afternoon in Europe, 9:10 in the morning on the East Coast. Wait, let me make sure. It's 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast. Yes, and a very early 5:10 in the morning on the West Coast. I don't think people will be getting up for that. It'll be midnight down under in Australia if you want to have a late night concert Wednesday night. The program here, again, is to be announced. Colin is a longtime adjunct professor at the Jacob School of Music at Indiana University. And he recently announced on Facebook, "I have embarked upon a wee Scottish tour!" ! My first stop was Perth and St. John's Kirk, a delightful 12th century church with a fine instrument and delightful people. That was on November 3rd, 2 days ago. So this may be the second stop for him. He at age 16, he was already a student at the Royal Academy of Music. Then he studied at the Geneva Conservatory. 1993, the Royal Academy named him and gave him an associateship. And he's also a membre d'honneur, an honorary member of the Grand Organ Association of Messiaen at Trinity Church in Paris, which is just about 200 meters down the street from where I lived when I am in Paris myself, so I know that church. He is one of only 4 organists in the world to have recorded the complete organ works of Messiaen. And I think I may have a photo for you of the organ that he will be playing at Glasgow University Memorial Chapel organ. Yes, there you have it. Do I have the specs in front of me? No, I don't, but I'm pretty sure that yeah, I do. It's a chapel. It was built by Henry Willis in 1927, and he was the son of the famous, the Father Willis guy, or the grandson. And it was refurbished by Harrison and Harrison in 2005, but we give you a link so you can look up the detailed specs, how many stops, etc., for yourself. And that is on Wednesday at 2:10 p.m. European time. Now, 5 minutes later, the Temple Church of London is having a live stream, so you have a choice. And in this case, it's James Thomas, who is the organist. James Thomas holds fellowships from Trinity College London and the Royal College of Organists, and he's director of music at Holy Trinity Church in Weymouth. But he is a vagabond. He's been director of music at the Harrow International School and cathedral organist in Hong Kong. He's been organist and director of music at Christchurch Cathedral in Nelson, New Zealand, and he's had other posts more around in the UK. I'd like to. I think I can show you the organ there too, the Temple Church organ, which is somewhat impressive. It is a Harrison and Harrison limited organ, designed and built and installed in 1954, a 4-manual organ, and they boast of it having 3 32-foot stops, which is pretty resounding if you know what that means. And it's modeled on drawings of the Temple Father Smith organ of 1688. So that is why it looks specifically the way it does. So both of those for you are on Wednesday. You have your choice. Neither of them has given the program of what they're playing, I'm sorry to say. We move forward then to Friday. Friday, November the 8th, 1 o'clock p.m. on the West Coast in the U.S., 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, 10 o'clock in the evening in Europe, St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral in San Diego will be live streaming another of the lovely concerts given by Canon Martin Green on the organ with the longest history of any in San Diego. It was the latest version was rebuilt in 1969 by Aeolian Skinner, Opus 1495, retaining the best pipework from previous instruments going back into the 1800s. This was one of Aeolian Skinner's last installations west of Mississippi. And then there was some modifications in 1989 and 1990, but there was a complete rebuild in 2012, relatively recently, by Quimby Pipe Organs, Opus 68. So it currently has 4 manuals, 98 stops, 86 ranks, 115 draw knobs, and 4,933 pipes. And I think I can show you some of the pictures of this organ. There's the pipework for the organ. And here's the manual setup. And here is your organist for the event. That's Canon Martin Green. Now, we do not have the program, but Martin Green's recitals are always a pleasure. He's very articulate, and he's able to make the complexities of the scores that he's playing clear to you without losing your interest or without overwhelming you with more technical expertise than someone such as myself, for instance, would have. I don't have music school training, although I have been a lyric tenor most of my life, but I didn't take the route of becoming a musician. And he always has an interesting blend, sometimes of American music and earlier music, and then later music, and then European music. He's received awards from the American Guild of Organists. He's appeared repeatedly on NPR's Pipe Dreams Live. He's gone around, he's done recitals in the US, UK, Mexico, and Canada, but apparently hasn't wandered out into the rest of Europe. And he's prepared choirs, because he's also the choir master there at St. Paul's, and worked with such notable conductors as Sir David Wilcox, John Rutter, David Flood, Martin Neary, and Dwayne Wolfe. So I can guarantee to you that this will be an interesting concert to tune into if you have the time and inclination and the interest on Friday afternoon or on Friday evening in Europe. Have a good time. We then move forward to Sunday for the next pair of concerts. Sunday, November the 10th, at its usual 5 o'clock in the evening, European time, which is 11 in the morning on the East Coast, 8 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast, and very late 3 a.m. in down under in Australia. St. Eustache Church will be live streaming a recital by one of the titular organists, resident organists at the church, Thomas Ospital. Now, I don't often talk about Thomas Ospital in much detail, and I'd like to talk to him a little bit more today. Thomas Ospital, he's from the Basque region of France, the southwest region. He has been the one of the resident organists at St. Eustache Church and the choir organist since 2015, when, along with Baptiste Florian Malouvrard, he won a contest. The French love awarding things with contests, to become a titular organist. For a number of years, for 2 or 3 years, he was also the organist in residence at the Radio France Concert Hall, Maison de la Radio in Paris. He's an organ professor at the Paris Conservatory now. And he, in addition to being an organist and a teacher, he also has recorded a couple CDs. One was the music of Franz Liszt, which was recorded by Hornas in 2017 on the great organ at St. Eustache, which is a 5-manual organ. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. And another one in 2018 was improvisations on the works of Bach on the Radio France organ. He's in addition to being a professor of organ at the conservatory, he's a professor of harmonization on the keyboard. So let me, I can show you a photograph of Thomas Ospital. That's not Thomas Ospital. This is Thomas Ospital. He looks awfully young, but he's been at St. Eustache already now for like 9 years, so it's been some time. Here is the pipe work and the organ at St. Eustache. I've done live streams from just before and after these concerts at St. Eustache a couple of times when I was in Paris. And here is the keyboard. It's a 5-manual keyboard, so it's quite an organ to be playing. And I think we are able to give you the link. Yes, we were able to give you the link to the detailed specs of that organ. What will he be playing? Well, at least in his case, we know what he'll be playing, although many of these recitals we don't at other churches. He'll be playing the 3 chorales by César Franck. Very often at St. Eustache Church, they play a very French repertoire. I can tell you the church will be full. They put aside a section of the church with several hundred seats in it, which is away from where the altar is and where they do the masses. It's an enormous high ceiling, like 4 or 5 stories high, and there are several hundred seats, and they are full every Sunday. So this is not like some of these other recitals where you tune into the live stream and you see maybe 20 people there. No, you're seeing hundreds of people. The French love this organ. They love this church. They love the organist there, and they love the repertoire. So when you tune in, you get a real feeling for the French atmosphere. I can only commend it to you. When I'm in Paris, I'm there in person. So now let's move on to a big ticket number that's coming up also on Sunday, which will be the Eccles International Organ Festival. Sunday, November 10th, 8 in the evening, Mountain Standard Time in the Rocky Mountains in Utah, in the United States. 10 o'clock, that's 10 o'clock on the East Coast. That's 4 a.m. in the morning in Europe, so I doubt people will get up to watch it. But it's a lovely 2 in the afternoon down under in Australia on Monday afternoon. And the Eccles Organ Festival Recital will be live streaming the organist Felix from Germany. The organ, let me show you the organ there. It's such a fine piece of work. There is the organ, and it's framed around one of these, I can't remember what is the name for that kind of a round, you can't see this on Instagram because you guys don't you don't play well with the multi-stream platform that I'm using where I can put up all these photos. Anyway, it's sort of like it's a stained glass window behind it. And let me show you the keyboard. It's a 4-manual keyboard. Tell you a little bit about this organ. Built and installed in 1992. It's a mechanical action English style organ built by Kenneth Jones and Associates of Bray, Ireland. It has mechanical key action, electric stop action, 4 manuals with 54 notes. The pedals have 30 notes, 79 ranks, 4,066 pipes, and it stands in a Gothic case designed to match the woodwork installed in the church in 1918. They like to point out that the fanfare trumpet among the pipes extends from the front of the choir gallery. Here's Felix looking with a smile like I'm the Cheshire Cat or whatever they call it. He'll be playing Bach's Prelude and Fugue in E-flat major. And then Schmücke dich, Olive Seele. Then he'll jump forward to some contemporary composers. He'll be playing the Toccata Schaffensbrüder by Enkjot Schneider, who was born in 1950. He'll be playing Akatombo from 3 Japanese sketches by Guy Beauvais, who was born in 1942. He's getting up there in the tooth, up in his 80s. And then he'll go back to the classics, playing Charles Marie Widor's Symphony No. 6, Opus 42. And who is Mr. Hal? Well, he was the organist, artist associate at St. Peter's Lutheran Church in Manhattan for 20 years. And he's currently the artist in residence at the United Lutheran Seminary in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, of all places. Although we're told that he's originally from Germany. He's played more than 1,000 concerts throughout North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Disney Hall in LA, Lincoln Center in New York, Tchaikovsky Hall in Moscow, the Yongsan Art Hall in Seoul, the National Theater and Concert Hall in Taipei. So he's been everywhere, and he's been a soloist with a lot of symphonies. He has 13 CDs out, although CDs are going out of circulation now. And he has performed the entire Bach cycle 4 times. Which takes about 20 hours of performance time. He's a graduate of the Juilliard School in New York, the Curtis Institute, and the Peabody Institute, of course. So really classic background as an organist. And we're just about at the end of our 20 minutes, which was all I like to extend these to. But there's one more I want to tell you about. It's not, strictly speaking, an organ recital, but the organ is a centerpiece. On Saturday, November 9th, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, European time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Moscow Standard Time. 5 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 2 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. Maybe you want to stay up late on Friday night, and 11 p.m. In Australia. Artbene is live streaming from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. Fyodor Stroganov on the organ playing a concert called Alice in Wonderland. It's free of charge. It's on YouTube. But you won't see it advertised much these days under current circumstances. It is Alice in Wonderland set to music by Fyodor Stroganov. And it's the story. It's set. The music is organ, violin, flute, oboe, and cello. So it's not just the organ. And the story will be told by a theater and film actress, Ingeborga Lyubomirskaya. And it will be accompanied by sand animation images by the artist Lydia Miller. The reason I wanted to bring this up to you, there was a Ukrainian organist, I'm sorry I didn't have time to look her up, back in the summertime who was live streaming, I think at Truro Cathedral. It was up in Cornwall. And she was putting together a show that she was going on tour with, which was organ music plus a story. I think it was Harry Potter music and sand animation images. So in Russia and in Ukraine, in the East, there's this thing growing up of using sand animation in concerts. So you have a kind of an interactive concert, which is not just for the ears, but it's also for the eyes, and it's created with sand as the concert is taking place. I thought you might want to know about that. I could give you more of the names of some of the artists, but I'm not sure if it would if it would send you or anything. The on the violin is Natalia Kalinicheva. On the oboe is Pavel Bogdanov. On the flute is Georgy Abrosov. And on the cello is Mikhail Kalinichev. If you know any of these things, and I can show you. I'm not going to tell you all about the cathedral organ. I will tell you about it on another case. But it's an organ which was sent to Moscow in the 1990s from Basel. It was disassembled in Basel and then reassembled in Moscow as in the wake of the fall of the end of the Cold War and all of that, and the end of the Soviet Union. It became possible to revive this Catholic Church cathedral in Moscow. Well, that's what we have for you this week. If you drop into on any of these live streams on YouTube, check in the comment section, the chat box, see if Access Arts Live is there. And if we are, please do say hello, so I know that we were the ones who brought you there. Even if you don't see me there, because it's maybe at an hour when I can't do it and you can, drop into the comment section and let the moderator, there's always a moderator in the chat boxes of these YouTube live streams, let them know that we sent you, because we like to get a little credit for helping to build their online audiences. So once again, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live. This was your weekly roundup of organ recitals, and what a plethora of choices you have this week, all of them free of charge.